welcome to the Strategic Life Podcast, episode 114. Just do you, boo-boo, with your host, Coach Mario.
Along with Frank?
That is you.
We skipped one.
Correct. He's not present. Dr. Mario is not pictured for picture day.
The recession's real, guys.
He is out of the country.
Okay.
He's outside of Florida, and Florida is its own country nowadays. So, yeah, he's out of the country.
It feels like that, right?
Sometimes.
Florida is like Australia. And then there's Miami, which is just, you know.
I mean, I think South Florida in itself is its own country compared to the rest of the state, to be honest, but...
I think Miami, not Fort Lauderdale, West Palm.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
And the Keys. That's
The
part
Keys
of
is
Florida.
different. I think the Keys is a little different than...
That's part of Florida. Miami's not.
Yeah, because Kendall and the Keys is not the same. You know those, your old stomping grounds. So, what do we mean by just do you, boo-boo? So, what we're talking about here is, I think particularly when it comes to me and along with Frank here, how to maintain or how to be yourself, how to keep your own persona in, not just in daily life, I guess we could say in business as well, you know?
Oh, a little bit of everything.
I mean, because if you know me, I kind of am the same person no matter where you know me, right? I mean, yes, I've grown in ways, but the personality doesn't change.
Don't be nasty.
I don't know what that means. That's your own projection. You can keep those to yourself. But what I mean is, how can you? And people say that time. I mean, people tell my wife all the time, "Is he always like this?" And the answer is yes. I am always like this. You know, and he's always like this. So if you know us, we're always like this. But how can we use that, or how can maybe someone who's a little bit, what's the word? Maybe fearful, or maybe. You just can't we're just going to get straight into it. I don't think you can overthink anything. You just have to be who you are, is my belief, because I believe that, let's say with business and certain things, you know, you always want to have your target audience or your target demographic or whatnot. But when it's how you approach people, whether it's through life or business, you know, you're not going to please everybody. So just being you and being genuine is the best thing you can do, because then you don't have to put on a performance. You know? What do you think, Frank?
Well, it's tough because, for example, who you are with your friends is not who you are with your kids.
Well, correct.
Right?
Yeah,
and who you are with, you know, again, your kids is not who you are with your parents and things like that. So there's always going to be that change. But I think what Coach is talking about is just you have to be genuine to yourself. Be happy with don't fake it. Don't put on a mask and be somebody that you're not. I think the easiest place we lose ourselves is at work, though, the professional side. I think that's the easiest place where, you know, I want to be an exec. I want to, you know, move up in the company. So I have to be cookie cutter and clean shaven and well spoken. And there's things I have to do, right? I think we're seeing that with athletes, right? Like you know, or celebrities, who they have to be in the limelight is different than who they really are in real life. So it's very easy to lose yourself there. But man, I agree with Coach. Once you're able to blend that, once you're able to be yourself at all times, oh, dude, it's so much better.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to have a confidence and a certainty in yourself and who you are specifically. That helps, because I mean that's the only thing that could have someone, I believe, just maybe second guess themselves or second guess their approach. But like I said a moment ago, otherwise you're going to be struggling to maintain this persona. And to along with Frank's point, when it comes to, yes, you're different when it comes to being with different people, right? If you're a father, if you're you know, a husband, and depending on who you're with, it's not that you change your persona. Yes, you still have different relationships in that regard, and you would change maybe some things you would say in front of coworkers as opposed to personal friends, or even I'm saying you may not share your, you know.
Oh, I thought you meant like me. No, hey.
No, I'm just saying in general. You're not going to be like, hey, I found out what the rash is from, you know, to your coworker.
Yep.
I had to get some cortisone on this. Yeah. I'm not even going to look at you.
That's exactly how it goes.
But not everyone's like that. But so you do have different relationships, but I think that the best thing you can do for yourself and for your own mental health is be yourself. People who are attracted to you are going to experience the realest version of you. There's going to be nothing different. You're not going to be, when you shift personalities like that, or you shift who you are, you're going to be seen by other people who observe you from outside of that experience as a person who's like, like for lack of a better phrase, like with a politician, like, oh, he's a flip flopper, like he acts fake over there in this room, and you know what I mean. And that's not something that you need to do. I mean, especially, I mean, I think from even, I guess with Frank's background, from even sales, right? You make your business off of being genuine and building rapport with people. So, I mean, did you experience that, maybe even from a sales perspective?
Oh,
did you
yeah.
change
Well,
who you
you
were,
gotta
or did you
remember,
observe in other people? I mean, you were a manager of a sales team. Did you see other people kind of put on personas just to...
Oh, 100%. Like I had to do it, right? Here, I'll give you an example. I've always had a beard, and at one point it was like, no, you have to be clean shaven. But that's not who I am. Like the physical is they'll change that too. And what I've learned about that experience is that you can do one or two things. You can either work to attract the people that like you, or you can work to be with the people you want. Those are two different things. I'm at a point in my life where I'd rather just be around people who like me for who I am. I'm not gonna work, and I think that's the right word. I'm not gonna work. I'm not gonna go out of my way to try to impress someone just because I want to be in their life. No. I want to be with people who want to be in my life. And that's just period, done. That's it. Like if you don't want to be in my life, cool, then we're good there. But I don't need to work to be in yours. I'm gonna work to be in your life, of course, but it has to be reciprocal. I'm not gonna go chase people. I'm not gonna go try to be in the popular crowd. I'm not gonna try to be, oh well, I want to move up in the world, so now I have to rub elbows with other people. Nah. If I don't fit there, I don't fit there. End of story. Done. Yeah. But to how that came from my past, yeah. So when I was in service, if you dressed up too nice, and this is corporate America, right? And so I worked in the county here in Miami-Dade, and on the service side, if I remember, being my first job was at a grocery store, and I would, we had the uniform, but I wore the nice jeans with the nicer shoes. It made me feel good about myself. It was like, no, that doesn't fit. You have to be all black shoes. They can't be those. All right, so now I can't wear the nice sneakers I like.
This is the grocery store telling you that.
Yeah, at the grocery store, right? And then so now how did that translate to corporate America? Okay, corporate America was the same thing, right? When I was in service, it was, you dress too nice. No, you can't do those things. No, just, And then when I got into sales in corporate America, then it was, well, you have to dress up even nicer. You have to be clean shaven, no pocket squares. Well, you always have to wear a tie. It's like, really, dude? And I had, some of my territory was in the Keys. Dude, like they were in shorts and flip flops. Like I'm walking in with a suit only because the appearance that they're making me wear. No, it didn't work. So it would just be this constant shift of who I am, and that's exhausting, dude. That's exhausting. And then who you are as an individual kind of gets lost in that because you're constantly shifting who you are for other people. So when you get to the point where you're just you all day, that is a beautiful feeling. Like you feel you have more energy. That takes a lot out of you to be switching back and forth between masks and personalities.
Yeah, it's funny as you mentioned that. I kind of think of the old episodes of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air where he'd go when he went to the private school or whatever, and he'd flip his jacket inside out because he just wanted a piece of his own personality, I guess. Which obviously he was pretty wild, and he's still wild today. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think that can get lost. I mean, as a parent, I do love school uniforms, but I can understand where people want their individuality, and that's why people do things to get noticed. And I mean, it can be part of you, and it can be something that you just like instead. I mean, piercings, changing your hair color, some things that people like as well, like tattoos. Things of that nature. So some people have them, and then some people get them in certain places to have it, where it's not visible. So they still have them, but they have maybe the same work environment where they can't get it, or there's the fear you can't get a job with the unless you're in the restaurant industry and you can make a mean balsamic dip. Where you could be, or you could be intimidating people, or potentially, if you have that old belief that tattoos means you're in jail and that you've done time or you're going to do time, but always be genuine. Be who you want to be because that's who you are, and honestly, it's just so much easier on yourself. Yes, you'll need to adjust yourself. It's not being fake when you're obviously if you curse like a sailor and you're going into boardrooms and meetings and you're having to find yourself dial that back. that makes sense. That's not making you not genuine. There is just a time and a place for certain types of behaviors. Unless you have that rapport with some people, I mean,
well, that shows awareness. So I'll give you what
you have
what's
to have
the
sensory,
difference, right? Well, that sounds
sensory acuity.
Well, that
for sure.
sounds very hypocritical, right? If I want to walk in shorts and a basketball T-shirt and and curse up a storm in a board meeting, I should be able to. No, because what it shows is that you're not paying attention to your environment, and if you're not paying attention to your surroundings and your environment, then you're not paying attention to anything, right? So it kind of shows that. I'll give you a good example. I'm the first one to walk around in shorts and T-shirts and baseball caps all the time.
He's not wearing shorts right now. It's weird.
It's full Winnie the Pooh, guys, just so that you know. But let that sink in for a minute.
Prove it.
And that's fine, but if I'm gonna go, and we've had to do it. If I've had to go to like an IRS office, or if I'm gonna show up and meet with a lawyer, or I'm gonna go to a nice dinner at a nice restaurant with a client, I'm gonna wear jeans, I'm gonna wear nice pants, I'm gonna wear a dress shirt instead, right? Why? Because I don't want to make anybody else feel uncomfortable, right? Like, I'm not going to force myself upon somebody. I get it. Like, it's who I am, and I'm comfortable this way. But if not, but this is who I am. Then don't put yourself in those situations. Hey, I like walking around in shorts and T-shirts all day. All right, then don't go to the fancy dinner. Don't go to the board meetings. Don't go to those things. Don't put yourself in that position, right? As far as being genuine, you have to be careful. Because some people will sit there and tell you, oh, you're not being genuine. It happened to me. Right, my first time, trying to be promoted,
coming off disingenuine. Yeah,
I was told that my first time trying to get a promotion. Back when I worked in corporate America, it was just, oh well, the reason you didn't get promoted is because we feel you were disingenuine. You're not yourself. We don't know how you're gonna lead a team if this is who you are. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me, dude. Like, I've known you forever. Like, you've known me forever. Like, you've known me outside of work. Like, that's just some BS. Like, that's just an excuse, because there's no other reason why I wouldn't get this job. And that's how they start molding you. So now you're like, okay, so how should I be? How should I do this? And then if those start creeping in your head, they've won. What coach is saying, don't change for anybody. If that's the case, that's not the right place for you. That's not the right position. That's not the right work environment for you. Look for something else. I can tell you right now, I went up against the big machine and I tried to fight it. And you know what? This is who I am, and I'm going to fight it. And they won. They fired me. And now here I am. And thank God they did. But just know that might be an outcome, but try to be yourself. It's a better life.
Yeah. So ultimately, I mean, again, and the reason this topic even came up is because, I mean, I believe between me and Frank ourselves, if you know us, and we do hang out a lot together, it's it can be intense if you don't know us. This is like, these guys are crazy. These guys say some wild stuff, and we were mentioning offline. I'm like, man, I've initially wanted the name of the episode to be like Walk the Line. Like, how do you walk around being yourself with a personality such as ours? And for many things, being taken seriously, or being, make sure, people can understand you and just don't think you're a full-time joker all the time, which I may or may not be one. That's to be determined. But I mean, I was telling him, I was like, man, I've always known how to just teeter-totter right on that line between, you're going too far and okay, relax. I mean, I was.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do.
No, you don't.
In what context?
No, sometimes you go too far.
Oh no, I don't believe so.
Sometimes you go too far.
I don't believe that.
Yes,
true.
You do.
I don't know who he is.
Yes, you do.
But
yes,
I can't
you
wait
do.
to meet him.
I will admit that I sometimes go too far, but I at least recognize that.
I have no idea what he's talking about. There's no evidence here.
This is how you lie to yourself, ladies and gentlemen.
Fake news. Fake news. It's the fakest news I ever heard in my life.
If you're listening to this is where you turn on YouTube or Spotify and you go look at Coach's face exactly, because he knows that there's times you go too far.
I don't believe you. But anyways, and my earliest recollection of getting close to being too far was, gosh, what was it? It was 9th grade. Was it biology?
Oh, stop it.
I think biology, because I had a teacher, poor thing. I think her name was Miss Hall. I don't remember. She had basically I forgot what we call it. I think pink slips is what they call them. It was basically when you got sent to it was the equivalent of being sent to the principal's office. I don't know if they'd send you to study hall or wherever you go when you're not behaving. I wouldn't know because I never got sent there.
Such a lie.
However,
such a lie.
However,
I'm terrified of even bringing like a first date around you. Just the jokes that fly off are just insane. Like
I mean, it's quality material, and I don't even write this down. This is all off the dome. It's all original. I can't even imagine if I actually thought about what I was saying. God. If I thought about what I was going to say before I said it, it'd be off the rails. But so back to Mrs. Hall's class. She had a few different pink slips with my name on them. She's like, I already have them. Interrupting the class, being loud and obnoxious. So all I have to do is date them and you're out of here. And every time she'd pull out the little booklet, she had them written out. I would be like, oh, time to straighten it up. You know what I mean? Never got sent there. What do they call it in I mean, I guess in Miami-Dade? Was it called CSI?
It was CSI, yeah.
CSI?
Well, growing up, it was CSI. I don't know what it is anymore. Now it's emotional counseling. I don't know what the hell. I don't even know what it is
You're going to go
anymore.
downstairs and you're going to get a participation ribbon.
I don't even know what it is
But it was
anymore.
CSI. That was basically like a study hall where you couldn't talk and like...
CSI was detention. That's all it was. Okay. You know, it was
like 8 hours and like someone please give me.
Yeah, it was like indoor suspension type of stuff, right? It was just like, oh well, you know, school's out at 2:30. You get to leave at 4:30 and stay in a room and do homework. Like, okay, you know.
And you'd like get out and be like, someone give me gum or a mint because
I've never had that. I had
in
detention
6
a couple
hours.
times. I had detention a couple of times. Like, hey, you haven't turned in your stuff. Stay after. Get this done.
He got sent to CSI.
No, I never. No, I never got sent to CSI. I was pretty good with schoolwork.
Wonder what it's called now, but you know,
no clue. Let us know. Give us a comment.
if you're young and in trouble, let us know what they call in-house detention nowadays.
For real.
But anything else on the how to be a genuine person front?
Man, you'll attract the right people.
I think that's part of it too. That is, you know, whether it's business or personal, or like, I mean, here's the thing. I've known at a young age that I was, you know, over the top with my daily, yet not across the line. With my persona. And here's the thing. Oh, someone says this and that. Someone says like, oh, you always have to be laughing. And I don't care. That's their problem. I've never cared about anyone who didn't like me or not. Oh my God, sucks for you. You're missing out on the fun. Go be boring by yourself. You know, like I am well aware that I'm a cup of tea that if no, and here's the thing. It doesn't matter who you are. Someone's not going to like somebody for something. For some reason, like, we're not going to please everybody. And so if you worry about other people, then that's just not showing enough focus on yourself.
Well, I'll share both sides of that coin.
Share the coin, boo.
So we'll start with the negative one first, right?
There's negatives? I didn't hear you.
Yeah. So why you should be yourself. And so, for example, 2 days ago, I got hit up by, you know, just a company trying to sell us something. And it's like this software. And it's pretty interesting. And once they started listing, like, you know, the relationships I have within that company and things like that, like, those are people I don't want to work with anymore. I didn't want to work with them to a certain degree when I did. I don't want to work with them now, and I don't see a future working with them anyways. And I was very clear. I was like, no, like, you don't have my business. No, I don't want to use this. No, this isn't a good fit for me. No, this is not the right thing. So why you should be yourself. If you're confident in yourself and you say no to things like that, like, today, there's no lingering phone call. There's no worry about, oh my God, I got to deal with this person. Or I got to call this person, or I'm going to pay for something I don't want. So there's less stress when you turn down things that don't fit you and who you are. Give you the other side. So what does that do? That makes room for the people who do appreciate you for you, who you are. And you should be one of those people that's very accepting to other people because, so I'll give you, again, the good side of that coin. I've gotten to with friends who tell me, hey, you know what? Like, you've allowed me to be myself. They're comfortable around me. They want to hang out more. They provide more. They give more. You know, I'm around them more. The relationship has grown more. I think that's where you and I started, right? Like we just, the dumb things we say to each other, and it's just like, all right, like, let's see where we take it from here, right? And then look what it turned into. So just giving yourself that space to say, okay, this is something I like. This is who I like. This is who I am there. If you listen to the first episode of this podcast, didn't feel very genuine compared to where we are now.
Yeah. I mean, it was our first time, but yeah.
Right? But what do we do a lot? The absolutely and the yes, sure.
Absolutely,
And we were very cookie cutter. And
yeah.
Right? And oh, we're something nice.
Well, that came with the time in the saddle.
And now look where we are.
Yeah.
Right? Heat jersey screaming at you to go be yourself.
I mean, yeah, that's important. Absolutely.
I think our first episode, I'm going to count how many times we said absolutely
like
in our first.
20-something
We were so
times.
scared and nervous.
I wrote it down on the paper and I pointed it to them. I don't know if we weren't doing video at the time, but I did write it down, and like as we spoke, I'm like, stop saying absolutely, because every time everyone transitioned, yeah, this, that, the other, absolutely. What do you think about that, Coach Mark? Absolutely, you're absolutely correct. It was a nightmare.
Yeah, man.
But we were aware that we were a mess.
But then what did we do? We said, oh, well, we did that for our audience, and, well, the people who are going to listen to this, and blah, blah, blah. And, fast forward, 2 years? Those people are like, no, we like it when you guys are raw and uncut. We like it when you guys say you guys don't sound the same. So that's another thing that where you find it, right? So it's not just who you are, but your voice. You're going to sound different. Yeah, of course you're going to stand out. You're going to be genuine, like the lies. On the professional side, give you another story. Interviewed a client, and client is interviewing us, right? And we're getting to know each other, right? The dating phase of the business world. And I didn't bring Coach along because God only knows what he would say.
I would have sealed the deal too fast.
And at the end of it, she goes, Frank, you don't sound like a normal accountant. And I'm like, I'm a business owner first. This is who I am. Like, you and I are going to be talking a lot. Like, if we can't get along, if I'm like, this is not going to work. And she's like, I like that a lot. Like, I get it. And I'm like, that's just how it is. And then, she's like, are your people like this too? And I'm like, yeah. So then she asked for references. She goes, oh, do you mind if I ask for references? I'm like, you want me to give you phone numbers to people who pay me and are happy with me? Sure. I sent her a list of like 7 different clients she can call.
Clearly,
right?
my name is at the top.
No.
He's sure that I'd say the right things.
But in different aspects, different part of the business, some on takeoff, some are international. And I told her, I'm like, pick any of them. Have fun. Like, ask them. Because it's like
he handed it to me. You're welcome.
Right?
See you when you're fully signed up.
And she loved it. Why? Because I was who I am, and she knows, hey, this guy's being honest because this is who he is. If he's comfortable enough to be himself, everything else has to be true. There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing that we haven't even mentioned, Frank talked about it for a moment there, but in relationships, especially in relationships, a lot of people can't feel that they can't be themselves in the relationship, and then when they start to, they get, I guess not weirded out, but the other person involved is like, oh, you're acting crazy, you're being this way or not, and it's because you entered the relationship with the mask on, and now you're trying to take it off, and now that person doesn't know who you are. And that's tough, and that really shows up. I think that shows up with a lot of guys. I think a lot of guys try to dial it back a little bit while they pitch the sale, close the deal, and then they're slowly coming out as the relationship develops and goes on. And it's like, well, you're acting crazy now, and now you want to do this. And if you ask his buddies, that's how he always was. On when the guys would go out to watch the game and do all these other things, but that's who he always was. And now he and or she, they, them, whatever, wherever we're at, have to do whatever they need to do to put a softener on who they are, so they don't scare the other person off, or maybe they've started to try to do it and they've pushed them away and they don't want to lose them. So now you have to live your life being someone else. God, shout out to you if that's what you're doing. Stop doing that.
Man, that goes both ways
that's a lot of extra work that I don't want.
But that's what but
what a nightmare.
That goes both ways too, because I've seen guys that they'll go above and beyond. They'll and I used to be one of them, right?
Where, you see, you should have seen the performance on this guy. We still use some of those jokes.
You know what? That's a great way to say it. I used to put on a performance for to attract women, and you would go on the first date, and it would be above and beyond, and it would be these crazy dinners, and it would be things that I knew I couldn't maintain, or it was very difficult to maintain.
It was a wild show to watch.
I was who I am, but you try to impress in my case, you try to impress the woman so much that it ended up backfiring after a while.
Boo-boo, do you want strawberries in your champagne, boo boo?
That was my birthday. See why I don't bring you around?
Those were words that he said to another woman. And I heard it, and I was like, "Oh my God! Someone please give me more ammo."
For the record,
so I'm like, "Boo boo."
It was my birthday. It was my birthday. We had a little cabana on South Beach. We had a couple of bottles of champagne and tequila, and we were dating for a year and change at that point. So it wasn't just some first date type of thing.
Turns around with 2 champagne glasses, a big expensive bottle of champagne. It's fresh. I mean, the fruit's there. He's not just inventing stuff. But
Thanks for the credit.
Boo Boo, you want strawberries in your champagne?
I did do that.
Man, it was good. A lot of great ones.
We can't go to a bar without that joke being popped out. That was what, 4 or 5 years ago. Like, Jesus.
Was it that long ago?
Oh, dude, that
It
was
was like just yesterday.
That was pre-COVID.
when I was giggering. Was it? Boo Boo,
No, but I don't mind that.
You want edamame?
No, I'd still do
You
that.
want edamame with your
I'll
champagne?
still do that. I'll still do the boo. You want some? I'll still do it.
Yeah.
But you know, those
other
are those
stuff.
things where you have to be very careful with the persona you are initially, because that's going to set the tone.
Yeah, no, I think we've kind of I think we're bringing it full circle in this regard. It's always be who you are, because that's your best foot forward, because that's who you are. But also at the same time, read the room, have some sensory acuity about what's going on, who's in attendance. You know, you wouldn't want to say something distasteful if you're looking around and someone's got a disability. I'm like, what are you, dumb? You know what I mean? It should be that blatant obvious when, you know, something you may say may trigger someone. So like I said, be yourself, but know your surroundings, know your audience.
Yeah, and then
That's the best way to say it.
100%, 100%. Yeah, we're good with that close. I got nothing else.
You want strawberries in your champagne, boo boo?
You want some?